Yeah, that was a deep episode. Very deep episode. My God. Well, we finally get revealed the truth behind everything that's going on, and man, I really don't like animes that have a character have a pretty much time limit to how long they have yet to live, and typically they end up dying. It reminds me of that one anime, the one time I called you God or something like that. It was the girl with the pink hair who had the disease and then she ended up dying at the end of the anime, which it was very controversial. People it was very controversial thoughts, but we could be getting something like that similar here. But this is like close to like Lycoris Recoil, the next episode, and man, what a deep, heartbreaking episode. So we leave off on the cliffhanger of the fact that Shinji's I guess you can say bodyguard pretty much is doing what we thought was gonna do surgery on Chisato to probably take out that artificial heart or something. But no, we later find out, Shizuto was on a pretty much time limit of how much she had left to live. And pretty much the thing is, Shinji's bodyguard pretty much just accelerated the time lapse, pretty much overcharged the artificial heart. So Shizuto has only about 2 months left to live based on how much she does, and it could probably be less because we know she does the whole in the field stuff. It can shorten that time span, and it's crazy that it was going this route. Like, we get a whole flashback about Chisato. Like, we find out that yes, she was just as good, she was just as equally skilled back then before she had the artificial heart put pretty much put in her body. And we pretty much find out that she pretty much, the reason why she got the heart transplant, or the artificial heart, was mostly because she had a severe heart disease that at that point in time she was only going to live about 6 months or so. And the thing is, Mika and Shinji, mostly Shinji, created this artificial heart, although he did say it isn't a completed masterpiece. Pretty much, it isn't a perfect invention. At least it would give her some time to live till she's about the age of 18. And just from the standpoint that this dude pretty much kind of gave his bodyguard the orders to accelerate the time of how much Shizuto has left to live. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and it's actually kind of really terrible, because the thing is, especially when you do the flashback, they pretty much, Chizuto in a way is Mika's and Shinji's, daughter and things like that. And it's very sad because she sees Shinji as a savior to her, somebody that saved her life and made her life for the better. While in the meantime, he's kind of doing these shady things, and she doesn't realize, like, oh, he sent a freaking hitman or hit woman on her to shorten her lifespan. And this could go back to the fact that maybe she's just not doing what, Shinji wanted Mika to make her do. And we get in the flashback, Shinji wanted Mika to pretty much be a killing machine. And that was the whole deal. The whole deal is like, I can give her this artificial heart and implement it into her. But at the same time, you have to make sure she's a killing machine that's doing all this killing for these missions and things like that. And we see, Mika over time, he pretty much changed opinion on that, because he knew Chisato deep down was a girl that didn't need to do all this. A very carefree, happy-go-lucky girl. And I guess from Shinji's perspective, he's like, well, you freaking backdoored or backdeal yourself on this whole promise we had and stay installed. So guess what? I'll just shorten her lifespan. So there's really nothing you can do because there is nothing you can do. And it's crazy. At the same time, the DA has found Majima's hideout and they called Chisato in, and pretty much the DA is pretty much telling Chisato, hey, I need you to, I know everything about what's going on. I know you got 2 months left. So, why don't you come over and work for us so you can at least be proud before your death? And I thought that was kind of actually fucked up, in my opinion. Like, you're literally telling this person who openly doesn't want to work with you or cooperate with you to, before her life pretty much is done, do something for the good of the public because we want you to do it. We don't sincerely care about the fact that you have 2 months left to live. And pretty much Chizato's like, well, screw that. I'll think about it if, guess what? You put freaking Chisato and you reinstate her back to the DA's office. And eventually that's what happens because we see Fuka actually drop by and say that she got a note she gave a note to Takina pretty much saying that, you're welcome to come back to the DA's office. It's just the operation to stop Majima once and for all. It takes place in 3 days, so make your decision. And it was actually pretty interesting to see this from Takina's perspective. And it made it a lot more sad because from Takina's perspective, she never knew of this. And even on the way to the DA's office, I think Miyuki, she told, that's why Chisato told Miyuki, like, this is why I didn't want to tell Takina about what was truly going on, because Takina this episode is kind of that person that gets revealed all this information and she's absolutely shocked. So obviously she's worried, and we see how they're doing a mission. She doesn't want Chisato to do too much because she doesn't want to shorten her lifespan. And it's actually pretty freaking sad because it's like, for somebody that we know is Takina when his shows first started, and trust me, I watched the English dub for this show came out this last week, and I saw that first episode, and I was like, shit, Takina was a completely different character at the start of the series compared to where you see her now, because she was just pretty much what Shinji wanted Chisato to be, a pretty much ruthless killing machine that doesn't really care about others, just freaking wants to get the mission done, and if you're told to kill, you're told to kill. And we see the change in Takina as the episodes go by, and we see how, with Takina, she's very visibly upset about this because, somebody she grew to appreciate as a friend, somebody she cares about, it really hit her hard with the fact that, her friend only has 2 months to live. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do if I knew my friend, after a procedure and the doctor told me, like, hey, he's only got a year or 6 months left to live and then he's gonna be gone. I wouldn't even know what that's like. And it's even, and I don't even, they haven't really went into the psyche of how Chizato's ultimately feeling about this, but I know it's probably something on her mind that maybe she's content with, but at the same time, you can maybe have it to where maybe she's a little distressed and she's not ready to yet. I don't even want to know what it's like to be put in that position when you're pretty much given a timeline of how much you have left to live, and then it's like they say, oh, guess what? You're gonna die in 6 months. I wouldn't know. And that's why we see in this episode, at the end of the episode, Takina takes Chisato out pretty much, and is doing all these, I guess you could say, bucket list things with her as one final time to hang out with her because, she's going to go back to the DA's office and she doesn't know if she's ever going to see Chisato again, which again is a very sad, and I like that moment to where they go wait, and it's they're trying to wait for the snow, but the snow doesn't come. And I loved how Chisato gave Takina like her scarf. She's like, just take that as a present for me before you go back to the DA's, as a way of saying thank you. So the snow does come and the episode ends. There's a post-credit scene. The fact that Majima finds out who Shinji is, or Mr. Yoshimitsu is. He confronts Shinji, and pretty much close a gun on him. So it's interesting to see where this story is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen, but now the task is to stop Majima, I'm guessing. But insanity. A very dark, depressing ass episode, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I just feel like we're gonna get a very sad ending to this series. I definitely do feel like someone's gonna die, whether that's Chisato or Takina potentially. It's gonna be interesting to see where this is going to go. But really good episode of Lycoris Recoil, and this show is winding down. But man, it's gonna be insane with what we got left in the story. And then, like I said, this has been a really good anime. If I would say, probably for me, I would say definite up there for potential anime of the year, or not anime of the year, anime of the season. I would say it's probably between, in my opinion, because I haven't seen all the summer animes. It's probably right now probably between the Lycoris Recoil and Classroom of the Elite are probably like fighting each other for probably anime of the season right now. But I like Classroom of the Elite, but like I said, Lycoris Recoil, especially with the way if they handle it really good, it could potentially be anime of the season. It's definitely a really good show, and I can't wait to see next week. But anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of Lycoris Recoil, as well as hit the subscribe button. You want to get more Cam for 15 content on the channel, and stuff like that. But other than that, guys, catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, peace.